Hey everyone, Julie Bogart here from Brave Writer. The structure of today is a Q&A. I will begin by giving you just some overview information about Brave Learner Home, the offer that we are extending through the end of June, and then we will be taking your questions and answers. So here's what today is all about: tying up the bow and the loose ends on what you may not understand about our brand new learning space called the Brave Learner Home. And the reason we're doing it today is as of June 30th, which I believe is Tuesday, our current deal, the best deal of the year, will be over. So let me explain first what the Brave Learner Home is. Then I will explain to you what purchase you need to make in order to benefit from the current deal, okay? So we are offering a lifetime membership to our community coaching space that will open for everyone on August 1st. This space currently is called the Homeschool Alliance. The Homeschool Alliance is our coaching community for home educators. So what we do in that space is each month we have a webinar very much like this. We have a reading that is what we call a master class of learning, and we might focus on things like sibling rivalry, innovative ways to teach math, brain-based learning, how to write poetry, what to do if your child is struggling with executive function, learning challenges, all those kinds of topics that speak directly to who you are as an effective educator, a compassionate parent, and an awesome adult. So that's what the Homeschool Alliance space has been. We are teaching you. We used to call it grad school for homeschool because we would pick a reading, we would have a webinar, sometimes we'd invite in an expert, and we would discuss the theme or the topic for a month. Also, each month, we create what I call a one thing challenge. What does that mean? It is basically a free lesson plan with 3 skill levels: easy peasy, moderate, and advanced. We will take a subject that is not typically thought of as a school subject, like the weather, or birds, or making soup, or learning about magnetism, and we will build an entire lesson plan for you so that you can just start to learn how to integrate all the school subjects around sort of an extracurricular topic. So every month there's a master class and a one thing challenge, and those change every month. So you get new material every month. And then we discuss it in the discussion board where you tune in just like you might on Facebook or on some other homeschool discussion board. You will tune in and post questions. You know, you might say, well, I have a 13-year-old and I tried to do that activity for magnetism and he got bored. Or I've got 2 kids and they're working on XYZ and they're always fighting. How do I help them? Or you might say things like, I'm feeling really burned out. I just don't know what to do. I've been homeschooling for 4 years. I feel depressed. So you just post questions about what you're going through. And then the community and our staff coaches will give you support and feedback, very much like a little therapeutic space designed just for you. So you can come in and be your whole full self and get the community support and coaching that you need from veteran homeschoolers. All of our coaches have graduated at least one child, and most of us have graduated all our children. So you will be dealing with parents who have been through all the stages and even into adulthood a little bit. And I find that that's really popular with homeschoolers in the trenches. They want to hear what worked, what didn't work, what would you do differently? And that's kind of what we bring to the table in that space. So that's the Homeschool Alliance. In addition now, we are adding coaching for Brave Writer products. So during the last couple years, we experimented with a Facebook group for our Arrow and Boomerang programs. These are mechanics and literature programs. So we pick a beautiful book like The Wild Robot, and then we look through the book and pick 4 passages, and we teach copywork and dictation using those passages, and we excavate them for spelling, grammar, punctuation, literary devices. And we write a guide, a handbook for you that you can read and start to understand how to have a really big, juicy conversation about grammar and spelling and punctuation with your kids. We give you activities to try. We give you new language. We help you explore that journey with your kids, and you don't have to have a background in English in order to do it. In other words, you don't need to have majored in English or to have loved English or to have gotten A's in English. All you need to be able to do is read English. If you can read our arrows or boomerangs, you can teach the content. So the goal then is for you to read a book and to teach the mechanics of literature and writing. What we did last year is we had a Facebook group where we provided additional webinar training and support through our coaching team. This year, in the Brave Learner Home, what we are doing is we are going to include the coaching for the arrow and the boomerang and all of our products. So now when you purchase one of our programs, you'll have a place to come when you have a question. And there will be trained Brave Writer staff available who will help you walk through it. There will also be a community of Brave Writer fans who use our products and have current experience with them, contributing their stories, their experiences, their solutions to your issues. So to summarize, the Brave Learner Home is like a big umbrella that has the Homeschool Alliance coaching for your home education self and Brave Writer coaching for your curriculum use. And those will live in the same space on our website starting on August 1st. So how do you end up in that space for a lifetime, for the rest of your homeschool life for free? Well, you can purchase one of our 3 programs until June 30th. These programs are available now, but they're available to purchase now, and they will be available to download starting August 1st. So I just want to quickly show you what they are. The youngest level is the Dart. This is for 8 to 10-year-olds. The second level is the Arrow for 11 and 12-year-olds. And the third level is the Boomerang for 13 and 14-year-olds. We will have another level releasing in January called the Slingshot for junior and seniors in high school, so 15 to 18-year-olds. And then we will talk about, starting next week, what's happening with the Wand and what's coming a year from now. So the Wand is our reading and writing program that is for your youngest kids, 5 to 7. So just set that aside for the moment. So right now, the 3 programs you can purchase to get lifetime access to the Brave Learner Home are the Dart, the Arrow, and the Boomerang, and they are $129 on sale until June 30th. And I have all the books here, and we will take a break at some point and I will go through what they are. But I noticed that Dawn is actually putting links in the chat, and Kirsten can do the same thing for Facebook. So if you want to go pop out for a moment and go look at those book lists, be my guest. So now I'm going to start answering some of the questions that have been posted, since that's the goal of today's session. Brittany is saying she's having a hard time getting into the rhythm. How do I do this? I feel like I'm drowning trying to start a new routine. Good news. If you purchase one of these programs, you will now be with us and we will help you set the rhythm starting August 1st. You don't have to do it alone. We have guidelines that you will download. We will have a webinar from me giving you some practical ideas. We will have all kinds of people answering your questions and sharing models that work for them. The bottom line is this: we've divided it into weeks, and you get to distribute that content over the week that suits your family. There are what we call week planners and progress trackers that come with each subscription, each year-long program, and you can use those for a little pre-planning to help you. So take a look at both of those and read the guidelines, and that should help you. Another question is from Jeannie. What is the difference between the Fumbling Ownership bundle, $249, and the Arrow bundle, $129? Okay, those are not the same thing. The Arrow bundle is not a bundle. The Arrow is 10 of these. And if you buy Faltering Ownership at the bundle level, you will get to choose the Arrow and it will be part of that bundle. It's a very big savings because what you're getting in a bundle is a year-long language arts program. You are getting, I'm going to grab it because it's right here. Hold on. I'm still here. You're also getting this program called Faltering Ownership, which are writing projects designed for 13 and, like 11 and 12-year-olds, maybe even up to 13. But for that middle school child or early high school or late elementary, depending on their skill level. So you're going to get 10 issues of the Arrow. You'll get this. And then you'll also get my book, The Writer's Jungle, which is the core manual to teaching writing. If you buy just the Arrow for $129, you will not get Faltering Ownership and The Writer's Jungle. Our bundles always include a writing projects program, The Writer's Jungle, and one of the language arts mechanics and literature programs. The way we think about writing is like a three-legged stool. There is original thought, the ideas in your head that need to come out to get onto the page. There are the transcription skills, the physical act of writing and spelling and punctuation. Original thought and the mechanics come together to create writing projects that are developmentally scaled to the age of your child. So if you think about our bundles, each of those is a leg on the stool. The Writer's Jungle addresses original thought. The Arrow and the Boomerang and the Dart, these address the mechanics and we teach them through literature. And then the writing projects that bring the mechanics and thoughts together are in Jot It Down, Partnership Writing, Faltering Ownership, or Help for High School, which is our high school manual. Okay? So I hope that answered that question. Good. All right, let's look at another one. I keep wondering, okay, I have one question and it's awful, but I keep wondering, what if something ever happens to Julie? Will Brave Writer live on? Oh, my gosh, it absolutely will. We are actually planning for that future. Our goal is for Brave Writer to outlive me, and I'll tell you right now, the talent that we have on the Brave Writer team far surpasses my contributions to this company. What we are able to do now, because we have hired such talented staff, eclipses what I was able to do single-handedly. So yes, you have my energy and my vision and my enthusiasm, and of course I'm continuing to write and produce, but we also have a corporate understanding of the mission of Brave Writer, and it is my sincere wish for Brave Writer to live long past my life cycle on this planet. But I'm only 58, so let's hope I'm around for another, at least 10 years, I hope. Okay. All right. What a sweet question. What else? I have a 12-year-old who is a good reader. I can't decide between the Arrow and Boomerang. Yep. The easiest way to decide is by book list. So look at the Arrow books, The Wild Robot Escapes, The Nerviest Girl in the World, Fish in a Tree, Children of the Longhouse, Green Glass House. Look through all those books and then compare to the Boomerang level. Emma, A Long Way Home, The Hound of Baskervilles, How I Became a Ghost, The Wizard of Oz, etc. And decide which of those seem most appropriate for your 12-year-old. Some 12-year-olds need a little more adventure in their stories. The writing needs to be more contemporary. The themes need to be less challenging. Go with the Arrow. If, however, you have one of those kids who's been reading way ahead of his level and likes the challenge of like arcane language, like you'll find in Sherlock Holmes or Emma, and is open to sort of those challenging, more mature themes, then go with the Boomerang. But I always recommend making the decision based on the book list, because the way we teach the content you can always modify it up or down. You can make a passage in the boomerang shorter for copy work. You can make an arrow passage longer. So focus on the books and not on the level of mechanic skill. My just turned 8-year-old, second, third grade curriculum, first year homeschooler, highly academic, coming from a highly academic private school, fairly on target, leans towards starting at the beginning to build his confidence, but wondering if I should go with jotted down or partnership writing. They will be getting the dart. So for an 8-year-old, start with jot it down. And here's why. We have jotted down, partnership writing, faltering ownership. We do not have first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade. So if your child is at the beginning, like we say, jot it down is for like 8 to 10. So if you're at the 8 to 10 or 7 to 8 or whatever, and your child's 8, start with that product, because even if they're really good at handwriting, you can still get so much out of those projects. And maybe your child will just do a little bit more of the original writing, transcribing themselves, than another child who needs you to transcribe everything. But the projects themselves are incredibly flexible. When I did the fairy tale project with my 2 youngest kids, at one point, my oldest kid, who was 13 at the time, jumped in and did his own fairy tale narration on Little Red Riding Hood from the wolf's perspective. So, you know, you could write a PhD on fairy tales, right? So a PhD dissertation. So it's not the topic, it's the quality of skill that the person brings. So I would start with jot it down. Let's see. Okay, more. Is every product digital? Yes, it absolutely is. Now, we recommend the Homeschool Printing Company if you're looking for a cheap, high quality print job and you want to use them. They do beautiful work. We use them for all our samples when we travel to conferences. We have great confidence in what they do. You can tell them we say hi when you reach out to them. I've met the owner and his daughter who run the company, and they are just fabulous human beings, and it's a company I wholeheartedly support. They are often deluged at this time of year, but it's worth the wait. They do a great job. Otherwise, you can just take our products to your local, FedEx or print shop and get them done where you live. Let's see. Can you purchase on the 30th? Yes, until midnight Eastern, our products will be available for purchase at the 129 automatically added to the Brave Learner home. Starting on July 1st, and I will share this with you because you're the ones making this decision and you're here today. Starting July 1st, the offer is changing. It will mean that you need to spend $198 in our store. So if you're going to buy a bundle with the wand, wait until July 1st, because then you will automatically get into the Brave Learner home. However, if you want to buy a bundle for the arrow, the dart, or the boomerang, the date doesn't make as big a difference because you will still be over that threshold on July 1st. Where this date makes a difference is if you want the $129 deal, where that's all you're spending and you're just buying one of these year-long programs. That you need to do by midnight Eastern time on June 30th. I think I said July, I meant June. June 30th. Okay, what else? Trying to decide between dart or arrow. Is the main difference the amount of copy work? It is one of the main differences. Also, our big juicy questions at the dart level are a little bit simpler. So they're not as in-depth analysis. They're more at the narration level. And then the other difference is in the dart, we are teaching you how to do copy work, French style dictation, traditional dictation, and what I call reverse dictation. At the arrow level, we still want you doing all of those, but you have to produce those pages yourself because we want you targeting the specific skill needs of your unique children. At the dart level, we sort of decide for you because we're trying to model and train you for a whole year. So if you really want that hand holding on how to do copy work, French style dictation, dictation, and reverse dictation, start with the dart. It's going to be amazing. Just wondering how all the components fit together. Writer's Jungle, Arrow, and the writing unit. Is it too much? It would be if you try to do it all at once. We send you with the bundle a short description of how to feather in each project over time, or each product, excuse me. So yes, please do not start day one trying to do the Writer's Jungle, an activity out of Jot It Down, and the Dart all on the same day. One of the reasons we are creating the Brave Learner Home and we are making this membership such a steal is I want to be there to help guide this. We get this question all the time in customer service, and I'm tired of answering it in a solo one-on-one way when the whole community would benefit from ongoing support and the belief, the faith in our answer. I tell people all the time the answer to that question, and then they go home and they don't believe it. By being in community, you will have the support you need to carry out those practices. So the way we usually start is with the arrow or the dart or the boomerang on day one. You're gonna read aloud, you're gonna look at the cover of the book and talk about it, you're gonna read and enjoy it, and then day two will be a different thing. You'll read, but I mean, you won't do anything else on day one, you're just gonna read. So then on day two, you might open it up and look at the passage and read it aloud and ask some rudimentary questions and notice some, repeating consonants and discover the name of that is alliteration. But you're going to do the arrow at least for a month before you start feathering in other writing practices. And as you work on each of these, we will help you know what sequence. It's a little different for each level, but we will help you. Let's see. If I purchase a bundle, do I also get access to the Brave Writer Home? Yes. And the bundle needs to be purchased anytime. The next offer that starts July 1st is good through May 2021. So for an entire year, if you spend $198 in one shopping cart, you will be added to the Brave Learner Home. The other way to get the Brave Learner Home, if you aren't buying curriculum, is to sign up for a fall or spring class. And that will start, the fall class registration opens July 27th. So that's the new offer that starts July 1st. So your last chance for 129 ends midnight, June 30th, and the new offer starts July 1st and it lasts all the way through May. So if you know you're gonna buy a bundle and you're waiting for a paycheck at the end of July, go ahead and wait, you'll be fine, you'll get in. And everything starts in the Brave Learner Home on August 1st. What if I have read most of the books on the book list to my child? Would it be worth doing the Dart with my children? What we recommend is this. The Dart might be the way that you get the Brave Learner Home really inexpensively. Like maybe you're not ready for the Arrow, so you don't really want to do those books or know if you want to do them in the future, so you buy the Dart. For the books you've already read, that just saves you time. You can still use the Dart and teach the content. It just means your kids have already heard the story. And then there are other books that you haven't read, and you can use those for read alouds during those months. So that would be my recommendation. I'm having a hard time balancing 3 kids. The kids are 10, 8, 6. Last 2 are boys. One is ready for partnership. She is 10. She loves all things writing. How do I support her while also encouraging the 8 and 6-year-old? Okay, here's my favorite answer. I'm so glad somebody asked this question. You get to alternate months. So you can focus on the 10-year-old 1 month, and the 6 and 8-year-old can just do like their usual routine without a lot of focus on writing projects, and do a project that's just for the 10-year-old, and the 8 and 6-year-old can kind of be sidecar, sort of hearing about it, seeing it, maybe trying it, but not really doing it. And then the next month it flips. Your 10-year-old can be given something to do a little independently, and you're going to give your devoted attention to the 8 and 6-year-old using Jot It Down. So you could literally do partnership writing 1 month, Jot It Down the next month, partnership writing the next month, Jot It Down the next month, and have it last you 2 years just that way. And by the way, that is a great strategy. It's nice to give kids breaks. They don't have to be forced to just do things all the time. A deep dive, immersive experience, even a couple times a year, is so much more productive for their educations than cranking out writing projects on a schedule that they don't like writing. My daughter is going into 4th grade. We are looking at homeschooling in the fall. She loves to write and is amazing when it's her subject of choice, but struggles to put forth an effort when the topic is one she doesn't like. Yeah, so don't do those, obviously. I want to encourage her to love writing, but show her that the same level of writing should go into everything she writes. So how about this? How about we not make our kids write about topics they're not interested in? I know that sounds earth-shattering. You're thinking, but what about high school? What about college? But they're not in high school or college yet. Wouldn't it be interesting if we took their passion? So let's say you have a daughter like I did, named Katrin, who loved fashion. Does fashion have any relationship to history? It does. So when we would write about history, I would find the fashion angle. So is she writing about history or fashion? She's writing about both. The things she loves filtered through the subject area that I want her to learn how to write. Do you see what I'm saying? Here's the little known secret that professional writers know, like me, that a lot of non-writers don't know. We only write about what we want to write about. Even on assignment. I've had many assignments. I mean, I've literally been a ghostwriter. Do you know what I do? I find the angle that is interesting to me within the assignment. I look for the way in that suits the kind of writing and thinking and fascination level I have inside me. That's what we want to teach our kids, so that when they get to college and they get a horrible assignment like write about Reconstruction after the Civil War, and they have a teacher whose class you sleep through because it's always at 1 p.m. and you just ate lunch and you're tired. Yes, that was me. Well, then I have to sit with it and think, what is it about this topic that I could get excited about? And for me, it was always relational, and it was related to religion, and it was related to an understanding of a theme. I wasn't really into military battle strategy or the politics. I found ways to get a hook into the subject, and that's what you can be teaching your kids, and I think we do a fabulous job of teaching that. I want to make sure I completely understand. If I already have Jot It Down, can I just buy the Dart and use it with Jot It Down? Yes, perfect, do that. I haven't bought the bundle, but have all the pieces. I have Writer's Jungle, Arrow, and Faltering Ownership. That's fabulous. Now, for this deal, you either need to buy this year's Arrow or take a class, in the fall, or the other option is you can buy just the membership. So also starting on July 1st, we will make it available where you can either buy 6 months for $99, or you can just spend $198 and you'll be in for a lifetime. So there is a way to do it. If you already own everything Brave Writer, then that's your other option. You can just buy the membership outright and just know it'll last forever. It's like a one-time investment and you'll be in like Flynn. For an 11 and 6-year-old, would you recommend the Arrow? It's our first year. Are there any tips on how to accommodate different ages? If the 6-year-old is not yet reading and writing, you will still need to teach reading. And what I recommend for that is Rooted in Language. Maybe Kirsten and Dawn, you can pop that link in for parents who want it. Rita Savasco is my friend and colleague, and she teaches reading. And they have a program starting soon called Pinwheels. And Pinwheels would be a lovely program to do with that not yet reader. And then you could use the Arrow for the read alouds and the discussion about grammar with both your kids. Let's see. What if we already purchased a bundle which included all of these products in April? Do we have to purchase again? Please contact us at help@bravewriter.com with your receipt and with your special situation, and we have a way to help you. Okay, so go reach out to our help team. My kids are 12, 11, and 8. Do I need to purchase partnership writing or faltering ownership in addition to Arrow guides? Or will the writing projects in the Arrow be enough if this is our first year? Why don't you start with the Arrow, because that gets you in, and then you could add partnership writing a little later. Or if you're trying to get the deal with the bundle, go ahead and buy the bundle with partnership writing and then wait to start it until you get comfortable with the arrow. I used every activity in partnership writing for all 5 of my kids when they were 13 down to age 6. I just want you to hear that for a minute. Actually, 13 down to 4, 9 years difference. But the 4-year-old wasn't really doing school. So 13 to 6. So I had all my kids doing those projects. So there is a lot of space in partnership writing for multiple ages and stages. It's probably our most flexible program. So if you've got kids that are in that age range, that's a great place to start. The coaching is going to happen in the Brave Learner home in a discussion board. And we will also have a place where we store any webinars we do. So it will all be on the Brave Writer website. And we also have an app that you can download and put on your phone. So when you're at ballet practice, you can sit there and do Brave Learner home. Or when you're home, you can open up your laptop and read and type, okay? Here we go. Someone has always purchased both Arrow and Boomerang. Look, if you've got a range of ages like this mom, Jenny, does, 10, 12, 14, and 16, it may be perfectly appropriate for your older kids to have the Boomerang and your younger ones aren't ready. Having 2 programs alternating months or having some of your older kids work a little more independently is fully appropriate. So, good on you. If you've been doing it, keep going. I think that's wonderful. We're using our history spine for writing this year, and we'll jump back to Brave Writer projects next year with an 11th grader who hasn't done Fumbling Ownership. Which high school package would you choose? Oh, okay. So Transition to Ownership and the Great Conversation packages are identical. We have not yet differentiated those packages because we're working on programs behind the scenes that you don't know about that are very much in the offing, not next year. So don't worry, they're not coming in 6 months. So right now, Help for High School plus the Boomerang is what we have available for high school. So either one of those bundles will work for you. Do we have to pay for the Alliance if we buy the bundle? So the Alliance is part of the Brave Learner home. If you buy the bundle, you are automatically in the Alliance because it's inside the Brave Learner home. Is that clear now? Hope that's clear. I feel like that's where people are getting hung up. The Homeschool Alliance has been a paid subscription service month by month and annually. What we are doing now is we are building an umbrella called the Brave Learner Home that includes the Alliance and adds Brave Writer program coaching. And you're getting all of that for free for the rest of your homeschool life when you buy either the Dart, the Arrow, or the Boomerang by June 30th. Or if you buy a bundle or anything over $198 starting July 1st. And you're fine. You can buy the bundle now because it includes the Arrow, the Boomerang, and the Dart. So if you buy a bundle right now, you're automatically in as well. Okay? Just want to make that crystal clear. What are the main differences between Jot It Down and partnership writing? Let me pick them up and I will show you. All right, here we go. This is Jot It Down. Isn't she pretty? So I am going to show you the projects. So first of all, what you'll notice in Jot It Down is we have an introduction, and then we have 3 parts to the program. Language arts, oral language, and writing projects. In the language arts section, I talked to you about Brave Writer lifestyle stuff like poetry and reading aloud and handwriting and music and nature and creating a language-rich context. Then we have oral language, how to memorize poetry, learning how to introduce your sibling to a friend. All those sort of oral things that we take for granted, we include them in here. And then part 3 is the heart of the program, writing projects. So here are some of the projects. The first one is a fairy tale project where your kids are going to read multiple versions of each tale and then create their own fairy tale book by narrating their own version of each tale. There is a project called Art Appreciation where you observe art and you start learning how to talk about it and use beautiful language to explain it, and you jot that down for your child. There's a photo journal. Let me show you what that looks like. So you're going to do research. You're going to get photos printed and learn how to organize them chronologically. You're going to put them in some kind of a format. You're going to help your child write captions and then bind the album. So they're learning how to be a researcher, how to do history, how to think chronologically using their own life. The next project that they're going to do is a little animal mini book. Now, here's one of my favorite things about Jot It Down that people don't understand. Every program we do prepares your child for college. So when your child is 7, doing Jot It Down, she's actually doing the same thing she'll be doing in college, but at a 7-year-old level. Here's a great example. In the animal mini book, they pick an animal. So let's say she picks, a shark. I ask you and your child to do some research. And so what do? We start looking at a variety of sources that give us information about sharks, like a poem, facts, expert opinion, a riddle or a joke, a saying, and personal experience. And instead of writing it in essay form, because hello, this child is 7, you're going to collect that information during a week of research. And then your child is going to write that information on bits of paper, and they're going to organize it by gluing it to a book. And they're going to form their own little collection of research about sharks. Instead of learning to write transitions between paragraphs with a thesis and carrying it through and stacking all the information, the binding itself acts as the format. Because at age 7, that's appropriate. As your child gets older, when they start working in partnership writing, they will start to do a little bit more that creates a little more transition. So for instance, in partnership writing, I have them making a mail order catalog based on a historical experience or theme. My kids made Mesopotamia Mall. And what it was a whole bunch of embalming products that were used in ancient Egypt. And they made a catalog where they're captioning and they're giving it prices and they're using the language from the historical context. And it is flowing from beginning to end. And they're making decisions about placement and what comes first. By the time they get to the end of partnership writing, they are going to be doing narratives. I'm looking for that section, sorry. Hold on. They're going to be doing written narrations for a variety of subjects. So like art history, where they're going to observe a painting and give it a meaningful description. And then, my goodness, the comments are building up. A history narration. In fact, here's Noah's living in a dump, the Middle Ages. He was 13 when he wrote this, by the way, in partnership writing level. A narration of literature. Here's where my kids did their Harry Potter themed party and then they wrote it up afterwards. Those are cookies that are all the characters from Harry Potter. We teach them the narrative arc so that they can use that when they're doing their narration. In other words, they're building skills over time. So Jot It Down is the most rudimentary level. So if your kids haven't done it and they're under 10, Jot It Down is a great place to start. And then partnership writing just ups the stakes and the game a little bit. But as a parent, you can support them at either level. You can provide more Jot It Down support to someone who's young but doing partnership writing, or you can provide less support to Jot It Down for a kid who's more at the partnership level. You have many kids. These programs are max flexible because I had many kids and I know how they need to be written. Okay, I'm looking, more questions. Let me get another one. My child is dysgraphic, newly 15, so gifted he's completed Algebra 2, slow typer. can have excellent ideas when writing what to do. So for a 15-year-old, I might recommend starting with the Boomerang for your literature and working on handwriting and all of that. You're going to want to go slow, but the content of those books will be more interesting to him. And then I might recommend doing like one of our online Boomerang book clubs where he can read a lot and type a little and start to grow that vocabulary around book discussion. And it's a very low stakes writing environment. We don't correct grammar or spelling or punctuation errors. It is all about externalizing the thought life and relating it to the book that's being read. So that's what I would do. Let's see. I'm looking for more questions. Okay, I do have a question about the timing of getting the arrows and boomerangs. The new ones are released on the 1st of a month. Is there any discussion of releasing just a few days early for those of us who like a few days to wrap our mind around the content? So we get this question every single year. No matter what date we would pick, it would feel like it was the wrong date. What I want to give you is permission to take the first few days to go ahead and look it over. So there are 4 weeks of content. So let's say I'm just going to look really quick and see what day of the week August 1 is, just for fun. Oh, look at that. August 1 is on a Saturday. So it's going to release on a Saturday. So you have Saturday and Sunday to look it over if you want to start bang on Monday. But August also has 5 weeks. So if you want to start later and give yourself a whole week, you could do that. I urge you to take charge of the calendar and to feel totally confident in taking the time you need to prepare. That is literally my most important advice about homeschooling. You are not off task preparing, and you can do it in the middle of the day, in the family room, on a weekday, while your kids are playing Nintendo. You do not have to do it off stage. You don't have to do it out of sight or at night or before they wake up. It doesn't even have to be done on a weekend. You can take a professional development prep day right in the middle of the week. You can say, hey, you know, the day that the arrow comes out, we have no school. I spend that day prepping for a month. You have my permission. I hope you'll do that. Let's see. With 2 high schoolers, I'm looking at the Slingshot as an option, but I could not find a description on the site. That is because the Slingshot is not available yet. It won't be until January, and we will announce the books at that time. And there are no back issues for the Slingshot. So what we have right now is a plan to start releasing Slingshots as of January and then going forward. So for now, I refer you to our single issues of the Boomerang and always select based on book title. So is the Brave Learner Home a website? Yes, it is not Facebook. We own it. It's our space. You will love it. It's so beautiful. We've spent a freaking fortune building it. So yes, definitely come to our website. Oh, thank you for saying that, Jenny, that she loves me. That's a nice thing to hear. Okay, I think maybe I've gotten through the questions. Okay, I've got a 7-year-old that's not reading and a 10-year-old that is reading and likes exciting books. The arrow books sound amazing for him, but I'm nervous the 7-year-old won't be able to keep up. So here's what I would do with a 7-year-old who's not reading yet. I would pick a program that teaches reading. I would read the arrow books aloud, and if you think that the books are at a maturity level that the child can enjoy, let that child stay in the room. If not, then what you want is to have a separate reading time with the 7-year-old that are books that are appropriate for that child. Now, they could be the DART books, or they could just be books. There are so many amazing books out there, picture books, short chapter books, classic literature, current literature, and we have lots of suggestions if you need them, but that's what I would do. I would focus on the arrow and the 10-year-old and incorporate the 7-year-old when the maturity seems appropriate. Katrin has a big joke that she's the youngest of 5. You know, there were certain books where she was just watching Mary Poppins like every day, right? Because that's what we had to do, because I had to keep educating the older 4, but some of these themes weren't right for her. So I would tuck her into my bed upstairs in my bedroom and put on the movie, and she'd just play with her dolls and watch the movie for a half hour while I did reading. Stuff like that. You're at home, you get to. Should we cancel our subscription if we order the special deal? Oh, if you are already a Homeschool Alliance member, we have details inside the Alliance explaining how to go forward from here. We will be posting a form that you can fill out and submit to us. And yes, we will cancel your subscription on July 31st. Can you go through the Writer's Jungle? I am on the fence as to if I need that to supplement the Arrow. The Writer's Jungle is my core manual, and it teaches the writing process to you, the parent, so that you can do it with your child. If you are new to Brave Writer, the Writer's Jungle is a fabulous place to start. You will completely change how you think about writing. Now, I want to just throw one thing out because we're kind of in a fraught moment with, you know, all the changes over the last several weeks about language and racism and the ways that we talk about things. The Writer's Jungle was written in 1998 and 99, and it has only been updated in 2005 with front matter. The core of it was never revised. So if you are reading along in there and it doesn't match all of your thoughts, I understand that. We will be revising it. There's no question about it. But the core material, chapters 1 through 10, those are the practices for writing. And I highly commend that you read those and try them with your kids. If you would prefer to take it as an online class, sign up for the Writer's Jungle Online. Those are phenomenal classes, and they will completely change how you see writing. I still get emails almost every week from somebody telling me how the Writer's Jungle completely changed how they homeschool, not just how they teach writing, because our approach to how you partner with your kids translates across all the subjects. Let's see. Will the Gracious Space books be on the Brave Learner Home? They are a part of the current Alliance. They will not be a part of the Brave Learner Home. The Homeschool Alliance was a paid site, and that was a benefit of paid membership. Starting in August, the Brave Learner Home is free because you've bought a program. So we do not offer additional freebies, but you know, they're not very expensive. You can pick those up on Amazon, or you buy them on Kindle. Let's see. Are the book clubs for the kids moderated? Yes, they are actually taught by trained staff, our homeschool writing coaches that work for Brave Writer. So these are guided discussion format, and the instructor helps to bring more insight and more development out of the young writers. Okay, I think I'm getting there. Anyone who's asking dart or arrow, arrow or boomerang, look at the book lists and make your decision based on what books you want to read this year. That's the decision you need to make, and then the product will be just right for you. I have a 2001 copyright edition of the Writer's Jungle. Am I missing anything that is in the newer edition? If it matters, you're fine. Don't worry about it. You might not have the current preface, but if you've got partnership writing, faltering ownership, arrows, you're fine. You got everything you need. Is the Writer's Jungle Online a class for parents or students? It's both. You sign up and you are a part of the class, and so is your child. But the parent does the direct interacting with the instructor, and the child is doing the writing, and the parent is submitting that. Can the arrow be used as a standalone, or is it to be used with Jot It Down and partnership writing? It can be used as a standalone, but remember the three-legged stool. So if you are not using Jot It Down or partnership writing, I hope that you are doing writing projects, you know, from your other program. Maybe you have a history program you use that has writing assignments. If you want a complete writing and language arts program, you need literature. You need to work on the mechanics, and we use literature to do that. You need to know what the writing process is, and then you need assignments, projects that bring the mechanics and original thought together. So our programs are Writer's Jungle, original thought, Dart, Arrow, Boomerang, mechanics and literature, Jot It Down, partnership writing, or faltering ownership, or help for high school writing projects. Yes, I can show you faltering ownership. Faltering ownership, I am super proud of. And I love all my products, but this one I especially love. And here's why. Parents ask me all the time, is Brave Writer a creative writing program? Is it just fiction? When do we do real writing? I literally had someone write me last week and she said, you seem to know a lot about writing. What programs would you recommend for a language arts program? And I was like, well, mine. She goes, no, but I mean, yours isn't a real program and it's not complete, right? I was like, no, it's complete. If you buy our stuff, you're getting what you need. So faltering ownership is special to me because the writing projects are leading you to that confidence. It's building off the platform of Jot It Down and partnership writing. Now you're doing like a book review, which is sort of like a book report. You're doing a mini report on natural disasters. You're learning how to examine history and write it autobiographically. You are going to examine viewpoint around headlines. You will write a semester-length, in-depth report about a topic and throw a party for that topic at the same time. It's pretty awesome. You'll learn about advertising language. We will take a deep dive into literary elements. And then we have 2 bonus projects. One is about fiction and the other is about poetry for all those, you know, middle school creative writers who can't get enough. We've got that in there. The other thing that we have in here that I really like is we create a kind of schedule for you so you can see how these projects integrate with the Arrow or the Boomerang or the Brave Writer lifestyle. So this product is really robust. It has 12 projects. We figure 1 project a month, and maybe if you're teaching other kids, like 6 in a year, this could easily last you all of junior high. It could be 2 years worth of writing easily. So I love this product, and I think it's a really good one for you to use before you do high school level. Anything else? You will get an email when the Brave Learner Home opens. When you sign up, you will be receiving a receipt, a welcome email, and login instructions. So, and of course, we will be reaching out to you between now and then and on the big opening day. On August 1st, go ahead and put it on your calendar. I will be doing a welcome webinar. It's a Saturday at 4 p.m. and we will just have a big bonanza meetup with everybody, and I will give you a tour and we'll talk about what's coming, and it will just be fabulous. I'll throw confetti. Do you recommend this program to learners with learning differences? Yes, and even autism, absolutely. We are so parent-child centered that you will discover it's very easy to tailor to kids with special needs. All right, I think we've gotten all the questions that I see. Oh, I have 4 more, so I'm going to spend the next 4 minutes blazing through these, and then we'll be done. Okay, so that one's done, that one's done. My 8-year-old wants to do the darts, and 10-year-old wants to do the arrow. Should I just go through the Writer's Jungle with them or Jot It Down partnership? Both. So if you're taking the Writer's Jungle class, you don't need to go through the Writer's Jungle. Just let that be the teaching moment for that product. And then what I recommend is you can do the arrow and Jot It Down at the same time. The arrow is ongoing, little bit of time every day, 10, 15 minutes a day. And then Jot It Down, you have 1 project per month. And you're going to do that with both kids. And you'll find the time in your week that you have available, because I know we're not the only thing you're teaching. And you will follow the 4 weeks of instructions in the product to help you do it. It's awesome. It's perfect. You got it. You're done. Everybody's understanding. This is very gratifying. Okay, so I think we have wrapped everything up. So let me just put a big bow on it. June 30th, midnight, Eastern time, is the end of the $129 sale that is based on purchasing the dart, the arrow, or the boomerang. If you want to buy these in a bundle, you will also be added to the Brave Learner Home lifetime membership. But buying them by themselves for $129, like if you do that on July 1st or July 2nd, you will not be added to the Brave Learner home. At that point, you will have to spend $198 to get the benefit, okay? So if you want the best deal and you weren't planning on buying a bundle, you were just gonna buy one thing, now's the time to do it before June 30th at midnight. Is that clear to everybody? Awesome. Jeannie just popped the special offers link so that you can go directly there. Kirsten will put it in the Facebook group or Facebook discussion there underneath my broadcast. It has been a pleasure to share with you today. We are going to grow together. You are not on your own. I have told the story before, but we'll close with this story. I had 5 kids and Noah was in 4th grade and we were using Saxon math and I got to chapter 4 and suddenly I didn't understand the directions. And I still remember standing in my kitchen thinking, if only I had Mr. Saxon's phone number, if only I had it, because I could call him, he could explain to me this one sentence that's totally confusing me and I'd be able to get back to math. But instead, I couldn't even move forward. I didn't know what to do. And that's what has stayed with me. So from the day that I opened the doors of my company, my cell phone was customer service until just 2 years ago. I answer emails. I answer all the direct messages I get on Instagram. My team responds to questions in Brave Schoolers on Facebook, on the Brave Writer page, in their own direct messages on Instagram, in our help inbox. We have tried really hard to be there for you when you have questions. But what's happened is the community has exploded. And what I think you're craving is support and training in an ongoing way, not just in the moment when you have one particular nagging issue. Hence the Brave Learner Home. It is the living, breathing, let me say that again, is the living, breathing teacher's manual where you can ask a question and know you'll get an answer, where the people who built the program are there to explain what they meant for the program to do. I don't know if this exists anywhere, but it now exists for us. And we invite you to join us and be a member of that amazing space. So thank you for joining me today. I hope I see you on August 1st. And we look forward to that. By the way, we will announce this next week. Every year we do something called summer camp. It is a 2-day, all-day training of everything related to Brave Writer, and it is absolutely free. And we will be announcing that. That's on July 21st and 22nd. We will be announcing that next week with the chance to register for those webinars. So if this was not enough for you, don't worry. We're about to go into much greater depth, with hour-long sessions about each of the programs. So hope you come. Thanks everybody for joining me today, and I'll see you online.